Won't you please come join me for some midnight therapy? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I am your host, Kat Matthews. This is a Sunday, a day of rest. I have been resting quite a bit. Very happy about that this Sunday. Taking it easy. Hopefully you get this Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. I don't know. But I am getting in the swing here of this dad life, getting the hang of it a little bit more every day. I'm loving it. A lot of people, as I said, were very negative, like get ready to never sleep and get ready to spend all your money and blah, 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 all the negatives. But it's been very nice, actually. The newborn stage is nice. I don't care what anyone says. Everybody loves babies. They all want to come see the baby and hold the baby. And when it's your own baby, you get to be around the baby the most. And it is enjoyable to see your offspring and your child become a little person. It is nice. I've been enjoying it. Me and Christy are loving it, to be honest. Of course, we don't sleep as much, but most people don't sleep anyways, with or without a newborn. It's weird because I'm starting to get a concept of time back. When we were in the hospital right after our child was born, they put you in this little room, and it's your hospital suite. And you have the bed for the woman that just gave birth. The hospital bed, a medical bed, it goes up and down. You know the hospital bed. It controls the television. There's a little table. They put your meatloaf on. They give you like a little tray. It's like a meatloaf or a roast beef. They bring you a couple good meals. And the partner, the man or woman, but let's just say man because we're talking about me, gets this fold-out couch thing that's a bed. It's not very comfortable. And the partner does not get the food, does not get the hospital food or prison food or cafeteria food. It's all the same. They don't get the little tray with the serving dish. They have to go down the hall where there's like a snack area. There's a coffee machine, a water machine, a fridge with some milk in it, crackers, graham crackers, jelly, the little spreadable jelly packets. Sometimes there's chips, snack-sized chips. And if you get there early, like I did, you get, the pick of the litter. So I was bringing so much peanut butter and jelly back, and I was getting the milk, and the milk had Star Wars characters on it, which I liked. I like a C3PO, R2D2 milk every day. It was very nice. But the moral of my story there is time really wasn't a thing. We were in like a void when we were in that little hotel room, technically a hospital room. But to me, it felt like a hotel. I told Christy that was our little vacation. But in that hospital room, we felt like time wasn't real. Like we really didn't know what was going on. And then when we got home, we didn't really know time like we knew it before. Christy was on maternity leave. I'm off for the summer. We didn't know if it was Tuesday or Friday or Saturday or Wednesday or if it was 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. But now we're kind of getting back into the routine and the concept of time again, which is nice. But I do find myself missing that hospital room a little and how time stopped a little. It felt like COVID, like during the pandemic, which sucked for a multitude of reasons. It was still nice in the way that time didn't really matter and there was no pressure and everything was kind of paused. That's what the hospital room felt like. And I've missed that a little now that time is coming back and responsibilities and you have to put pants on at some point during the day. It's a little bit of a bummer. But other than that, it's been nice. We're still doing everything we did before. I have a mural project I'm working on. We bring the baby. We work on it together. The baby doesn't help much, but she watches, supports, moral support. We've been doing that. We've been hitting yard sales. I scored at a yard sale the other day. I'm going to show you what I got. I'm a picker. I'm an antique dealer. You know that. The many hats I wear, that's one of them. But when I see something good, I know it and I have to buy it. Even though I'm not doing that as much, I'm not buying and selling antiques as much as I used to. I still know a good deal and a good item when I see it. And yesterday, I scored this bad boy. Look at that. You know what this is? This is over 100 years old. It is not powered by electricity. It is an automobile part. This is a Model T horn. Back in the day, some call it the Auga horn, but upon further research, the Auga horn was a very different type of horn. They all didn't come with that. That's a Claxton horn, and they're worth a lot more money. And it makes that signature sound. The Model T generic horns for automobiles at that time didn't always make that Auga sound, but more of a annoying flat sound, which is what this one does. But I did buy this, scored it. Don't even know if I want to sell it. It's super fun. It wakes up the neighbors. And it's just powered by your hand. You know, you just push this crank down. It makes the annoying noise, you know? Hear that? That's what Model T horns sounded like. Unless you had a nice fancy Auga horn that was more, you know, what you hear in the movies and stuff. But, not bad. Pretty cool. I probably woke the baby and stirred the dogs up, you know, so sorry about that upstairs. But I had to show you the horn. What a score. What a score. I will be revealing my new vehicle soon that I've been telling you about for weeks. We're going to do a whole video on it. I already have all the film done. I just have to do the voiceover. But it has been fun driving this new car around, I will tell you. So we're going to get into that. Yesterday, I had a little encounter with Adobe. I don't know if anybody uses Adobe products, but they reminded me of the terrible world in which we live in of subscription services, which I despise. I predicted many years ago that everything is going to turn over to subscription. Even your car, you will not own your car. You will rent the service of a car. Like you'll get X amount of rides per month, whether it's Uber or self-driving, like whether somebody physically comes and gets you or a self-driving car comes and gets you, you'll pay for like 60 rides a month on a subscription basis. And they will sell it to you as you don't have to do the oil change, you don't have to do the tires, you don't have to worry about wear and tear, you don't have to store the car, you don't have to worry about it breaking down. The car will just come get you, and it's a subscription service. What they don't tell you is that's a way for you to own nothing and for them to own everything and for them to control another aspect of your life. Now, you notice they don't sell you movies anymore. You can't own a copy of a movie anymore. You can't own, let's say, Beauty and the Beast on DVD anymore. They don't sell that anymore. They want you to buy the subscription service to Disney Plus, and they'll lease you the movie anytime you want, as long as you pay that bill. And that bill can go up anytime they want, and as much as they would like. They could increase, the price, and they can also change the terms and conditions anytime they want. So you see everything turning over to subscription-based services now, and Adobe is another one. So I dabble in graphic design. I used to be a freelance designer and marketer and all that. I used to do logos and everything, and I got pretty good with the Adobe suite, the Creative Suite, Creative Cloud, whatever you call it. But pretty much Illustrator and Photoshop were the main two I used. And they offered a very good student discount if you were in college. Now, I'm back in college now, so I got that student discount price, which I loved, It was about $21 a month, and they lease you the programs. You don't own them. You used to be able to own them. You would buy them, and you'd have that program for life. Then they're like, oh, we keep updating it, so we want to make sure you have the most updated version. They lie through their teeth, and they make you sign up for the subscription service. They sent me an email saying that the price is going up like 800%, and even with your discount, the price is now going up to like $50. So I don't need any more of that robbing of my bank account every month. I have enough. I refuse to get that Rocket Money app that tells me all my subscriptions I forgot about because I don't trust that app, number one. Number two, I don't want to know. It would bother me if I knew. But I don't need another $60 taken out of my account for programs I don't use. So I called them and canceled, and I now only pay for Illustrator, and I pay as much for Adobe Illustrator as I was paying to use all the apps before. So Adobe, you're just another one that takes advantage of people. You're going to be out of business soon because no one's using your programs anymore. AI replaced everything. You are charging people for the same program over and over again with your malicious and invasive subscription-based model, which I hope collapses. I hope all these subscription-based models collapse. You buy something once and that's it. They're trying to make money off you 400 times over because we don't stand up and we're all just suckers and we do it. And we love not having responsibility and we love renting, and it feels better on our brain to just pay a little less, but then pay 5 million times more over time because we're all conditioned and tricked. Anyways, had a terrible experience on customer service with Adobe. Not fun. Moving on to other malicious forms of, business and capitalism in America. Some would say, I don't know how I feel. But Sydney Sweeney, we talk about her a lot on the show. She is the traditionally attractive woman with the big heart that sold her bathwater infused in soap recently and sold out for that company. What was it, Dr. Squatch or whatever? I don't know. She made that company, I don't know, the stock went up instantly when she started selling her bathwater infused in the soap. She's now doing another ad campaign for American Eagle, and it is crazy to see how the pendulum swings back and forth. If you remember, they called it like woke advertisements. Like, I don't even know what you call it. Like the wokeness, they referred to it, like we're the models for these fashion companies or whatever, it could be anything, but let's say American Eagle a couple years back. You would have this, I'm just cutting straight to the point here. I'm sorry, but it'd be like this morbidly obese woman, like let's say not traditionally attractive, whatever that means, but maybe some armpit hair or maybe like a mohawk haircut or blue hair or very large, right? You know what I'm saying? They'd have those models, and people would call it woke and whatever. But now we're going back to that traditional, some would even say toxic masculinity focused advertising. It's like everything the Barbie movie was saying, if you watch the Barbie movie with the toxic masculinity. That's what this new American Eagle ad is with Sydney Sweeney. Now, Sydney Sweeney doesn't seem to have a problem with it. I don't think she views it as objectifying women, but it is her in jeans and like a skimpy tank top working on an old classic Ford Mustang and then wiping the grease on her jeans and then getting in the car and driving off. And some people are saying they're like it's back to that now. I don't know. I was never mad at the Barbie movie, with the toxic masculinity stuff. I thought maybe I'm part of the problem, but I thought it was kind of cool, when he was, drinking beer and looking up to Sylvester Stallone and wearing the fur coat. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if that's toxic masculinity. Maybe it's just masculinity. I don't know. But it seems that there is a return to that now, and Sydney Sweeney is catching some, grief for that. That she's, I don't know, adding to the patriarchy or something. They said the same thing about Sabrina Carpenter with that album cover, but I don't know. Feels like things are going back to women being women and feminine and men being, lovers of women and femininity and liking to grill and liking muscle cars and working hard and having a beer after a long day and the wife making a meatloaf for the man. And that's not necessarily the end of the world like it was a few years ago. I don't know. But that ad is catching some attention. Sydney Sweeney is good for the stock market, allegedly. Whatever she does, invest in that company. Invest in the soap company. Invest in American Eagle. I would. Whatever she touches, seems to boom. I wonder why. It's almost like men like that's the kind of thing. It's almost like men like feminine women getting out of a muscle car. It's almost like men will purchase soap with a woman's bathwater in it. It's not her fault. It's the market's fault. It's capitalism's fault. Politics, it's a slow week. I don't have much to say. I don't know if the world's ending. I don't care. Epstein, the whole story is already almost forgotten about. Old news. Still a debate if Trump is playing 4D chess or not. Does he have the list? Is he using it to his leverage? Who knows? But I think a good indicator of that is the whole Maxwell situation. There's talk that she may testify on August 11th. She was subpoenaed, but she has the right to use her Fifth Amendment. So we don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think Trump wants her talking. That would ruin his plan if he was using the list as leverage. She's the only other one that has information on Jeffrey Epstein that could be leaked. You know, she was his closest partner and is serving 20 years for being his accomplice. So can you only imagine what he did if she's serving 20 just for being associated? So who knows? Maybe she might, disappear in prison just like Jeffy did. We don't know. Or maybe Trump will tell her to be quiet for 4 years, and then when Trump's done, he'll give her a presidential pardon as long as she doesn't squeal in the meantime. But keep an eye on her. Keep an eye on her. How could there be nothing? Like there's no client list. Well, then she was charged with sex trafficking or, assisting with sex trafficking. Well, who did she sex traffic? Who are those people? Where's the client list? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't make sense, but she is one to focus on. Ghislaine Maxwell, however you say her name. Ghislaine, Gazelle. Yeah. A lot of weird stuff going on in politics. I'm not even going to touch on this, but look up Candace Owens again. She's getting sued by that French president, Macron, because she is certain that his wife is a man. And now she's being sued. That says a couple things. Maybe she is really defaming that family, or maybe she is a man. I don't know. I wouldn't file a lawsuit on a podcaster, unless it was, I don't know, if it had some credibility, the claims she was making. I don't know. That's a weird story, though, but look into it. This Tulsi Gabbard bombshell report is picking up some traction, too. It's kind of really the only thing in the news this week that I think is rather interesting. She's the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She released these documents from 2017, the House Intel report. She claims it's irrefutable evidence that the Obama administration knowingly fabricated that Trump colluded with Russia in the 2016 election. There is intelligence reports that were all fake, and Obama saw over them and ordered them. This was done to undermine Trump's victory. And this could actually potentially lead to some charges or jail time for these people, including former President Barack Obama. Now, Trump is behind this. Takes some balls to go after Obama. He has a lot of connections. So we'll see where this goes. The left is saying this is a distraction. Don't worry about don't worry about this report. It's just to distract you from Epstein. Trump was on the Epstein list, blah, blah, blah. That could be true. Could be a distraction, or it could just be poor timing that this whole Epstein thing happened around the same time as this, and Trump was always planning on looking into 2016 with the Russian collusion stuff. Who knows? Either way, two wrongs don't make a right. So the Epstein thing matters, but the Epstein thing doesn't negate this Obama thing. You get what I'm saying? Just because the Epstein thing is very real and valid doesn't mean this isn't. That's all I'm saying. We know that Russiagate was totally fake. So was the Mueller report, the Steele dossier. It was all fake. Now this comes out. It only makes sense. Like a lot of people that have been paying attention knew all this, but now there's appears to be evidence. So it would be a great disservice to our intellect to overlook it because the media told you it was just a distraction. That's all I'm saying. So I'm curious to see what happens there. Everything's a news cycle, It's a narrative. You can't keep up. Every second, something changes. you lose things. Like everyone would like you to believe in the media that Trump's doing a horrible job and his presidency, or the second one at least, is filled with nothing but scandal. But what they don't tell you is those tariffs that were supposed to destroy the economy are actually doing pretty well. I wouldn't be giving you the best show if I didn't give you the facts that are often overlooked. Those tariffs have boosted the Federal Reserve $171 billion so far. The stock market didn't crash, and the groceries are pretty normal, right? No one really cares. Without those news stories, you don't really realize, the groceries and the gas. They were scaring you with egg prices. Remember that? All these financial experts said the tariffs are going to destroy the country. Okay. Well, it didn't happen, but we did make $171 billion already off them. And he's even talking about, Trump is saying he might give taxpayers some money back, like a tariff rebate check. It's pretty interesting. So remember, don't be controlled by the fear they try to sell you. Fear is what keeps the lights on at these malicious and nefarious organizations. They need you to be afraid. They need you to hate the other. They don't want you to be united with one another. Keep that in mind. In other news, rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. What a sad week. Ozzy Osbourne was a rock legend. Doesn't even need any explanation. He was the Prince of Darkness, 76 years old. That is about 40 years longer than I believe Ozzy thought he would live with the lifestyle he had, but what a life he lived. His last concert, very good. You should check that out. He was strapped to a throne because he's not supposed to be walking. It got rough at the end for Ozzy. He lived a good life, though. Black Sabbath, super, super important rock band in the history of rock and roll. Very obsessed with that dark stuff. I think he was a good guy at heart, though. I think it was more of like an act. He bit the bat's head off. You know that story. He's a little nuts. I wrote that song about Aleister Crowley. I bring him up a lot. Look him up, the most wicked man that ever lived, Aleister Crowley. All those rock and roll guys, the dark rock and roll dudes back in the day were obsessed with Aleister Crowley, including Ozzy and the occult. And look into him. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I would need 5 years to tell you the history of all this, but that Crowley is very interesting. It'll make you listen to that song in a different way. Look him up, though, and look at what he was doing. And look at rock bands that were obsessed with him. I think someone from Zeppelin bought his house and lived in it for a while. Look that up. The other terrible death was Hulk Hogan. 71 years old, he died. Heart attack, I believe. One of the most, if not the most famous pro wrestlers of all time. He had a lot of surgeries due to injuries from wrestling. He was on steroids most of his life, and these were the animal steroids of the 80s that were not regulated at all. A lot of these wrestlers from the WWE die early. Hulk actually lived quite a long time compared to others. He was a legend. We rewatched Rocky 3, Thunder Lips, classic scene, amazing. The Hulkster got some bad press late in life. He was part of a controversy making racial remarks on this hot mic. He got caught saying some racist things about his daughter's boyfriend, I believe. Got canceled for a bit. They took him out of the Hall of Fame, the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Then he got back in towards the end, and he said he was sorry. Who knows? Who's to judge anyone but God and themselves, right? I like to believe he was a good man that was sorry. And I think when the whole world is looking at you, it's easy to cast judgment, but you yourself only know what you mean by things. We all say things we don't mean. We all say things out of anger. If we judge everyone by their weakest moment, then everyone should be condemned. But either way, Hulk Hogan was a legend, one of the coolest people, I believe. One of the coolest figures. I like to look at life as imagine a simulation. Like this is all simulation. There's a shelf of action figures. And Death is just collecting them. They're collecting the coolest ones. Like the Grim Reaper, Death, is collecting the coolest action figures. And I hate to say it, but Death has a pretty good collection. He might have more good action figures than we have here on Earth right now. He just got 2 in 1 week. that are crazy scores. Like he hit the mother. He got Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. Now they are on the shelf of death. Like in the personal collection of the Grim Reaper is now 2 newest editions, Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. A lot of people are on that shelf. You got Elvis, you got Eddie Van Halen, you got all these, like you got Julius Caesar, you got all these great George Washington, Abe Lincoln, all these fun people on that shelf. In our lives and in our, I don't know, zeitgeist of time, there were some cool ones in the 80s. I would say the 80s produced a lot of cool action figures. And for us here in the simulation, just celebrities and figures. But of those legends, a lot of them aren't left. A lot of them are gone to the other side. I hate to say it, but like that era, the music, the entertainment, the wrestlers, the rock stars, like a lot of them are gone. And it's sad because there's not many left. I was just saying the other day, you got Springsteen, Billy Joel, Elton John, even though not doing so well. Who else is left from that era? There's not a lot. Wrestlers, you got Ric Flair. That's kind of it. Rock stars, I don't know. You got a few. A lot of them are on the Grim Reaper's shelf. A motivation for your life is be cool enough to be desirable that the Grim Reaper wants you on his shelf. There's a motivational sentence you probably never heard from anyone else but me, Cat Matthews, on Midnight Therapy. So this show is original. You're getting original content here. Either way, rest in peace, Ozzy and Hulk Hogan. You will be missed. I'm going to end this show with a conspiracy theory that I heard, because I go down the rabbit hole about every day, and I'm home. We go a little stir crazy sometimes because we're up all hours of the night. And my algorithm feeds me crazy, weird things because it knows I'm probably insane. It knows I'm mad or a genius, because madness and genius coincide. They're like right there next to each other. And I slip back and forth sometimes. I truly believe that. So at 3 a.m, I just feed the baby or something. It showed me this thing, and I had to deep dive into it, which is driving me crazy. So I have to tell all you people about it. Let me start off with a little caveat. History and science is all pretty much a lie. Now, history goes without being said. The reason why history isn't 100% truthful is it was written by the victors. It was written by the winners. It was written by the smart, educated, literate people. So when you have that over the other people, you get to kind of spin it in your own way. Religion is a lot this way. History is a lot this way. These people have the power to burn all the other books, to rip out what they don't like, not include what they don't like, and only include what they do like, and idolize it and spin it to their likeness, So what you're reading is not exactly true, especially in modern times. But imagine even back then, when only like 10% of the population was literate. You're probably not getting the greatest account of history. Now, as far as science, of course, we made some amazing discoveries and breakthroughs in science, and it helps us on our little planet here in our little lifetime. It really does. But you are taking a magnifying glass to the work of something that's already created. So you discovering the atom would have existed whether man discovered it or not. But somehow we take credit for finding out that these complex systems exist in our universe. We're like, look at this. We found this out. Yeah, it is great that we were able to find that out, but isn't it more fantastic that it existed whether we knew about it or not? So all these people are like, I actually believe in science, not fairy tales. Okay. What do you mean believe in science? You believe in man discovering what already existed? Good for you. Good for you. It's not universal. They say science and math are universal. Not really. If an alien came here and you're like, oh, so do you have hydrogen on your planet? The alien would say, what is hydrogen? What are you talking about? They might have a completely different name for hydrogen. They might have a completely different numbers or numeric system. They definitely don't speak English. I'll tell you that. They definitely don't know this place is called Earth. So that whole universal thing is a little odd. We show them the periodic table. They'd say, "Where's the rest of it?" We go, "This is all of it." They go, "Oh wow, you guys, huh, ain't that cute? You guys are cute." Um, so don't believe everything. That's what I'm saying. Your childlike curiosity and your tendency to be inquisitive should never go away. And if it does go away, you have to retrain yourself to be more open-minded. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, but I just know it's true." You don't know anything. Socrates, baby. All I know is I know nothing. Live by that. You don't know a damn thing. You believe a lot, but you don't know anything for certain. Humble yourself. Have some humility. Let go of your pride. That's all I'm saying. And look at things through a clear lens. Have an open mind and be a critical thinking human. This is all I'm saying. So, with that being said, I just heard about this insane part of history and these creatures that we all know about a little. They are dog-headed creatures called the cynocephaly. I believe I'm saying that right. Cynocephaly. Hope I'm saying it right. Look it up, though. And these creatures have the body of a human and the head of a dog or a jackal. Now, when you look at ancient Egyptians, you always see the Anubis. And it's a figure with a human body and a jackal head. You've seen this all the time, and there's these gods or demigods or in their sculpture and their hieroglyphics and their art. Look it up. You'll see it. And we all know ancient Egypt is pretty old civilization, They appear other places as well, which is where it gets crazy, because you could easily say, "Oh, well, that's just the Egyptian mythology." Okay, granted, that's a fair argument. But these creatures appear a little bit more than you would think. They were known to be savage and living in these exotic lands or islands, and prominent people have written about them. They appear in writings. Philosophers wrote about them. Historians wrote about them. Marco Polo wrote about them. They appear on these ancient maps multiple times. St. Thomas was said to have converted some of these cynocephaly to Christianity and said that they have the potential to be saved and they may have a soul. Some writers of that time said that they were just savages and that they eat their prisoners of war and they're barking and growling and they're more beast than man. Philosophers deeply debated whether these creatures have a soul or not. Like, this is not just like a little legend or a myth. People were writing about these extensively. And the craziest one, this is the craziest thing. Please look up Saint Christopher in Christianity, in the religion of Christianity. Look up Saint Christopher, please. Now, in the Byzantine or Eastern Christian tradition, he is depicted in a way that will blow your mind. Saint Christopher was a cynocephaly and was a saint. Now, I didn't make any of this up. I know you didn't learn this in CCD for all my Catholics out there. I know they didn't tell you that there was a saint that had a dog head. I know they didn't tell you that. I never knew that. But look up the depictions of Saint Christopher. He was a cynocephaly, he had a dog head and a human body. This is crazy to me because the gatekeepers of this knowledge and the people that know the truth want you to know none of this. They want your mind to be dull. They want your brain to be smooth. They want you to only think about what show you're watching tonight and what fast food you're going to eat on the couch before you go to bed and go to work again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. They don't want you to ever think about things. They want you to say it's too much work and nobody knows and it's too hard and just worry about your little life and that's it. But when I hear things like that and I read about things like that, I go, wow, what else is a lie? That's what makes me think dragons were probably real. I'm being honest. Look up a video of a Komodo dragon. There's videos on the internet of a Komodo dragon eating a goat alive. A Komodo dragon it's only because, it's called a dragon. Everybody's like, dragons aren't real. But what about a Komodo dragon? Why is it called a dragon? It's called Komodo because it's on the island of Komodo. Komodo dragon. That's a dragon. Can you really not believe that there was maybe other dragons like that weren't on Komodo Island? Maybe a little bigger, maybe a little differentiation of their appearance. Had a serpent tongue. Look up a Komodo dragon. It has that serpent tongue, giant claws, scaly skin, big tail, huge. Could eat a goat alive. You tell me that? I mean, you tell me that everything written in the past that we don't have today was just a made-up fairy tale? People cared about what they wrote down back then. It wasn't like today where you post a tweet every 2 seconds. If you were writing something down, not everyone was literate, and you really had to be careful how you wrote something down. So if these ancient explorers are drawing dog-headed people on a map, I don't think it's just cuz. You know what I'm saying? Everything was like, there was no eraser back then, so you were really careful what you wrote down with the ink quill and the pen and the vellum or pigskin that you were writing on. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like there's a Staples up the road. You go get another pack of paper. Took forever to make a piece of paper. And these people were talking about these cynocephaly and dragons and all this other stuff. Who knows? Maybe it was real. Maybe we're all conditioned to believe it was fake. And with that being said, maybe we're still being conditioned to believe what's real and fake. And maybe they're better at doing it now than ever before. Maybe the propaganda is more easily accessible through your phone or your tablet or your constant social media use. And maybe the people in charge of this power, whoever that may be, wink, doesn't have the best intentions for us and have a plan for us. Maybe some type of new world order plan. I don't know. But keep that in mind as you traverse through this random life that is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful place. You're revolving and rotating on this organic sphere of a planet that is in the perfect conditions for life. The food comes from the ground, the water falls from the sky, the air is fresh, everything works in its perfect harmony. You're alive. You could walk and talk and jump and sing and dance, and you get another day and you spend it listening to this show. Life is good, but they'll convince you it's not. But as you traverse through this odd realm and beautiful realm, keep an open mind to everything and anything. That's my advice to you. This episode is brought to you in part by Jack's Pub and Eatery and Three Saints Barbershop located in downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Love my two sponsors. We are adding another sponsor next episode. That will make it 3. Can't wait to announce who that is. And if you would like to be a sponsor of the show, contact me. I will get you a personalized mini billboard for your business, and I will plug your show in exchange. I'll be back with that car unveiling video and a new episode next week as always. Stay curious, my friends. Good night.